Hello, stamping friends. It's Laura Barkman with LB. Unleash Your Creativity for the third installment of our Splendid Thoughts series, which I'm doing throughout the month of August, or at least the first 3 weeks of August. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it for the next two lives. After that, I feel like I may need to move on to something else. But this is what we're going to do for the time that I am away with my family on vacation. So I am probably currently making my way back home at the end of a long but super exciting and fun vacation, and I'm probably exhausted. So I am here today recording a video for you, absolutely full of energy and loving this stamp set. I hope you have enjoyed the last couple of weeks of projects, and if you missed them, I will show them to you again. So the first one I made with you was this one here. We made this in week 1. So that would have been just after the long weekend. Week 2, we made this one here. Let's see if I can not get the glare on those papers. There you go. So that one showed off those beautiful foil papers. We are currently working on week 3, but I did share another finished card. I didn't show you how to do this one, but this is the very first card that I made with this set. All of these projects were done through the Creativity Now gathering for Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. If you missed it, you know you're going to want to be in on it next time. So you either need to make sure you're a demonstrator on my team to be a part of it, or you need to, well, and if you're already a demonstrator, you need to just sign up for something like this the next time it comes around. I'm going to switch you down to my workspace so that we can get started on today's card. And we are starting off with the negative pieces that we kept from last week's card. So if you threw those out, I hope your recycling hasn't gone out yet. You need to pull those out of your bin. I have a few other pieces of designer series paper that we are going to use. We're going to use one of the foil sides and 2 of the more matte sides. We are also going to use some embossing powder. So there is no ink on this card, and I also have my card base. What I was saying is there is no ink on this card. It is all embossed. So I'm going to grab, I have a piece of paper from my card club that we had done some of the Brood for You cards designs, and I had used this previously for embossing, so I'm just going to use it again because then I can dump my powder onto here. I'm going to bring in my Versamark, and we are using the leaves that are going to sort of look like ink splotches in the background. So it's this one here. It's that watermark leaf color for, pardon me, the eucalyptus stem there. So that's what we are working on today. And I'm just going to randomly stamp these all over the front of my card. I'm not wanting to overlap them, so I am going to try to keep track of where they have landed. I'm going to go in there. And if I'm not sure, I can stop and emboss halfway through, which I think is maybe what I'm going to do now. What I should have done before I started this is use an embossing buddy on that card to take on the cardstock to take off some of the static, which I totally forgot to do. So don't be like me. Make sure you remove that static if you haven't already started stamping on it. Okay, so there are my images that I've stamped so far. So I'm going to continue stamping. I'm going to very carefully move over to the side here and continue so that I can heat emboss these all in one shot. I'm going to go up like this. Oops, I missed my ink pad. And then down here in this corner, I want just that trio of leaves. And I'm going to stamp here. Where else do I need them? Just in this corner over here. So let's put like that. Okay, so now I'm going to add embossing powder to the rest of these and try not to get my fingers on anything here. Let's see, that looks fairly well covered. There's just, you can see a couple spots on this side. Need a little bit more embossing powder, so we'll just go ahead and get that well coated on there. All right, close this up before I make a real mess with it. And we are going to just tap that off, make sure that, we get all of these little bits and bobs of embossing powder off of here. So I'm just going to take a paintbrush. Because I didn't pre-anti-static this, there is embossing powder stuck in places that I don't really want it to be stuck. I'm just going to tap those off, tap them onto my paper, and I'm going to gently and carefully slide my embossing powder back into the container before I end up with it all over the place. And close that up. I'm going to bring my heating tool in here, so it is going to get loud for a moment. Bear with me. I will heat it up. All right, we are going to emboss. I like moving my heating tool around so that I'm never in one spot too long. That just prevents the embossing powder from burning and the paper from burning as well. It also helps reduce the curl. Okay, so you can see the leaves are starting to change. They are becoming shiny, although they all look kind of shiny on the video screen. But the top portion of my card is now all embossed, and I'm just working in the center to melt that embossing powder, and I'm going to turn the card around, always being careful that I'm not pointing the heat tool at anything that it could possibly melt. I don't want to melt my images here. Once we have this embossed, we have one more piece to stamp and emboss. All right, so that is one piece that we have embossed. Let me go ahead and just clean off my stamp. I'm going to unmount that one, and I just want to mount our greeting here. Okay, and that is going to be stamped on this little piece of Calypso Coral. I love how a lot of the designs that we are using have Calypso Coral in them. Actually, I think all the designs that I've made with you guys together have had Calypso Coral. It's just that very first card that I made that didn't. And that very first card is far more within my comfort colors that I would reach for when I'm creating, but we need to come out of our comfort zone sometimes. So again, I forgot to emboss buddy this, so it's got a little bit of extra powder on it. I'm just going to try to brush that off with the paintbrush. And for this one, I'm definitely going to need my tweezers, which I've tucked away because the heat tool is going to be pretty darn close to my fingers. All right, let's close this up. And heat it up again. There you can see that one changing much better than you saw the leaves on that foam. Put my tool away in a safe spot because it is hot. And I got a tip to use a coffee cup. We all have all these extra coffee cups that I don't know, in your cupboard, my cupboard. So I heard a tip on actually one of my coffee date events that they use a coffee cup to keep their heat tool in, and I thought, what a great idea. I have this super fun crop and create cup that I got from an event that I attend fall and spring, and what better use for it than using it to hold my heat tool? That way I get to use it for fun, and I still get to use the teacup that I use on a daily basis with my kids' handprints on them, so I get to use all the cups that I love in my cupboard. So if you have one that you're not using, that might be a good use for it. All right, so the next thing we are going to do here is pull our extra pieces of paper. Oh, and I'm covering up that reminder for you. If you are trying to place an order while I'm away, you can use the direct ordering tool on the Stacking Up website and use that host code right there. So I will try to keep it uncovered in case you need it during these videos. Because if you don't have this suite, by the time I finish today, I'm sure you're going to have it on your wish list. I have misplaced my plates, but I found them. Okay, so now we are going to cut the same image out of 3 pieces of designer series paper. So have patience. We're going to have to do this 3 times. I should have started so that you could see me, but you'll see it magically pop through the other side in a moment. So that one is going to go through, and this is on that Calypso Coral paper, and I am not using the foil sides this time because I'm using these negative spaces from our card last week. So, I dropped the die. We'll have to grab that. Okay, so there's that, and okay, I got it. The die fell and skidded all the way across the room, so give me one moment to go and grab that. All right, that was successfully retrieved. So now, I think I was saying I'm cutting these out of the matte side, and that is true for most of them. I'm going to cut out of the matte side of this paper here. So that's the Sahara Sand, I believe. This piece is a little bigger because it's just the scrap that I happen to have. But when I cut them specifically for this purpose, they were about 1 inch by 1 3/4 inches. So 1 by 2 will give you plenty. All right, so that one's going to go through. I'll make it come back just to make sure that we got it cut nicely in that paper. So that is cut number 2 on our beautiful mat. So that's going to go over here. Just take these papers. My daughter just cleaned my studio for me. She swept it up, so I'm going to try to make sure that I keep it as clean as possible for now. Okay, I'm going to go over to the side on this one. I'm going to catch mostly the leaves on there. Go right there. All right, so now we're going to go back through here. You're not really going to be able to see what's on this piece of paper, but you can definitely see the white markings. So I wanted to take the most advantage of those. So there is that line drawing piece there. And the rest of this, well, I might hold on to that. Looks like I might be able to do a little something on that. Those little pieces are going in the recycling bin for sure. My plates are going to go away. As is my mini stamp and emboss machine. And then I have no idea where my dies are right now, but we'll find that after. Oh, they're right in front of me, guys. That's where you would normally tell me where they are if you're watching live, but because we're on a recording, I didn't have that advantage. Okay, so now we are down to the assembly for these cards, and we are going to pull this in here. Oh, I forgot to ink blend. Oh well. I guess I still could. You know what? We'll try it. I think we can do this. So I need some soft and foam. It's just going to create a little bit more color here. And I need my green. There we go. All right, I'm just going to give that a little bit of color or a cleaning so that I take any excess color off of there. I'm going to pick up some ink and starting in the bottom right hand corner, I'm just going to add a little bit of ink, and that's just going to create some variation in the color of the cardstock. So we're going to go just into this corner. I forgot this was part of the instruction. That's why I tend to go back and just look at it one more time. This card, I didn't have the names of the designers when I did the other cards for you, but I did look this one up before recording this video, and this one was shared by Melanie Williams. So, love her little design here. I think it's so fun. Okay, so I just took that ink into about the right hand diagonal, just over here. So we're not doing the whole background. I do want a little bit of variation on there. I love how she did that, so we're going to imitate that. And then she had done it pre stamping her Versamark and embossing. So all I'm going to do is take my microfiber cloth. You can do this with a paper towel, and I'm just going to rub on the embossing just to pick up any ink that might be sitting on there. So that's done and good. We're good to go now. I'll move my scratch paper out of the way. So now we can start assembling, and we are going to put these guys. So these are those little half moons from our last card, and we are going to tuck them. Some of them had foil and some of them didn't. This one looks like a non-foil with this is going to peek out in here somehow. That in here. This one is going to go kind of like that. And then the bottom two are using foils. So that one and that one. So those are going on with dimensionals. And then the idea is that, whoops, that's going to go on more straight. This is going to come out like that, and this is going to come out over here like this. So I know I'm going to glue these guys down with dimensionals. So what I'm going to do first, using the small dimensionals, I'm just going to put one in each corner. This one here is going to go on last because it is the top layer. So putting the dimensionals in the corners will allow me to tuck these little leaves, the eucalyptus, in there. Okay, this one's going over here. So just put the back or put the dimensionals on all of these. I know I tried to cut these out straight. I can see this one's not straight, but that's okay because it's going to be crooked on the card front. So it's not going to, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter much if it's straight or crooked or not. So that's fine. There we go. And then the last one. Ooh, there's not a lot of room in those bottom corners. I'm gonna have to put that on very carefully. So let's move that where I can actually see it. And hope that perfect. I don't know if I can get one in this corner. No, definitely can't get a whole one in that corner. So let's just snip that in half. That's fine. We can do with that. And then I'm just going to put another half just at the top here so that that corner is nicely stuck down, but I'm not interfering with where I'm going to want to put the little leaves. Okay, so we know this one goes down first, so let's go ahead and place it. Get all these little backings off. Sometimes they fall off on me without me even realizing it. Okay, so that one is going to go kind of like that, right about there. And then this one's next. So that one already had a piece of paper off, and I knew something did because there's a piece of paper on my table here, right there. All right, those are all good. They are going to layer in right over here. This one is going to get tucked on, kind of straight, more straight, right there. Oh, you know what? I don't like that angle. You kind of went at a bit of an angle, and I'm going to change it so that it's not all the same. There we go. I like that better. I don't like, though, I tucked that down. So let's just, oops. Okay, there we go. I think I'm good with that. As long as it's going to sit nice and flat. Okay. Without impinging. There we go. There, now we have it. The dimensional there was just pulling that one down, and I definitely didn't want to be doing that. Okay, so taking the backing off of these dimensionals here, tossing those in the garbage can. Okay. Somehow I've ended up with the wrong spacing, but I'm going to make it work. I'm going to go up here with this. Okay. Right there. There's not much I can do with that one. Okay, there we go. Now I can dimensional this one. Just use 2 on here. It is going to go kind of centered here. The card is straight. There we go. Sort of. I'm going to move these more in the middle. I don't like how it's making I don't like how it is making my greeting sit. So I'm going to take these off. That's pretty. We're going to come off like that. You were not playing nice. Okay, so that's fine. Nobody's going to see that. But I'm going to put 2 dimensionals right in the middle. Then they're sitting flat in the middle of this opening, as opposed to pinching down the paper on the end. Yes, that's what I want. Okay, there we go. Now it's not pinning anything else down. So from here, I'm going to take this guy, just going to put a wee bit of glue on the stem. Oh, that's not a wee bit of glue. Okay. Brush that out. That was a little more than I had bargained for. And the idea is that that one is going to sit right there. Now, this one is going to sit a little bit of glue on both sides of this one. Okay, so right there, and just a little bit here. And I want it to tuck right in there. And then this one is going to go just above our greeting. Right about there. Okay, so there's the card. Those are going to dry and they're going to be absolutely secure despite the fact that there's only a little bit of the stem glued down, so we're not going to have a problem. And then this is all going on my card back. Let me burnish that fold line with my foam folder. And this one is going to go on to my card base with some dimensionals, just like that. Now, I'm usually kind of sticky that I like all my frames to be the same. This one isn't the same, and that's okay, but I think because it's not the same, I'm going to offset it a little bit so that it doesn't, to my eye, look like it isn't even. The original is not offset, so that's completely a personal preference. I need to trim my edge of my dimensional sheet down so that I can use all of these lovely dimensionals for my project. So I'll just cut a few of these so that I have them to use tonight. And we're going to glue this down, and then that is going to be the end of this series with the Splendid Thoughts. I think I'm going to move on to a different stamp set for the last 2 weeks of August. I know we did Christmas in July. Maybe we'll do something. I don't know what we'll do. I did some cheers. Nope, not cheers to you. Brewed for you cards. Maybe I can share some more of those. Not the ones we did in my club, but just some other ones that I can create. We'll see. All right, so there is the finished card. So let me bring in all 3 that we did in our little series of Splendid Thoughts, and you let me know your thoughts on these cards. What did you think? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Do you like that I showed you something that somebody else did in our creativity events with Stamping Up? You let me know what you think. I'm going to pop up over here just to say goodbye and to thank you for joining me while I was away. I hope that I've been able to respond to all of the comments, and I look forward to seeing you next week in person. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great time. We will see you next week.